What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 101 of the Littleroot Lessons podcast. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. What's up, dude?
Series 12 is in full swing, and I'm so excited.
I loaded up Cart for the first time since the Invitational.
Dang, that was a while ago.
Yeah. I didn't touch Sword and Shield at all for December and most of January.
I loaded up Sword to help someone with their Zamazenta codes over the whole tournament break we were doing. And then I don't think I've plugged Shield in a very long time.
We also, have gotten 2 new Pokemon games in that time as well.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps.
Currently on the Arceus grind still.
I have finally stepped foot into the second area.
I did that on stream earlier last week. I was like,
I did it. I think you did it Tuesday. I did it Wednesday.
Yep.
And I mean, there's still stuff in the first section I'm not even close to being done with. Like, I still have Chimchar to go catch. I found a non-zero amount of Pichus, but like not enough to complete the Pokédex. Same with like Munchlax. So yeah, there's quite a bit I still have to do.
I'll be
a
the
lot
first
of those
person.
Rare spawns I still have.
I'll be the first person to tell you it's gonna be easier just to catch the Pichus to do the Pokédex thing than to try and train with it. It does like no damage whatsoever.
Oh yeah, I'm not catching it. I mean, I'm not training them. I will just go catch them.
Well, when I found it, it was real early on, so it's like, oh, I'll just keep Pichu in my party. It'll get friendship and evolve eventually being like level 30. Because it kept fainting.
I have a Paris and a Baniri that are ready to evolve, but I'm refusing to evolve them until I get their like moves done in the Pokédex. Which for Paris is you have Absorb, I think 20 times, which is no big deal because there's Geodudes readily available that you also have to KO with grass moves, so it just works out. And then you have to use Stun Spore 40 times.
Yeah, that's the long one.
Yeah, same with like Kadabra. It has Psyshock and Calm Mind that it has to use a bunch.
I have a team of mostly all alphas and my nice Typhlosion. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're getting sidetracked already.
Nope. Like we had to keep things like topical to what's going on in the real world. So
Series 12 is the topical thing today.
That is true. So,
Series 12 is
what are we doing today, man?
So today we are going to be doing I would almost call this like seasonal like team building session.
Yeah.
We do this
did one for BDSP, which was about 10 episodes ago, I think, if I counted correctly. So, it's about time that we get another one in.
Yeah. And this one for Series 12 is going to be fairly nice. Let's see here. We were doing Double Weather is what we kind of just decided on because no one's really playing this. I think if you are seeing it, you're seeing it more with like Torkoal and Kyogre and not Groudon Kyogre, which I think I prefer the Torkoal Kyogre versions.
Yeah,
over
probably.
The Groudon Kyogre.
But then I don't get to play Groudon.
Yeah, Groudon's pretty good.
Like, I really wish we had Megas specifically for Groudon. Like, Kyogre, I don't. Like, no, I don't want to play against that.
You can't have one Primal without the other, Carter. That's not fair.
I just want Primal Groudon just so it has Desolate Land.
No.
That's all I want. I want it to be immune to water attacks. Is that asking for too much? Probably.
100%. 100% is asking for too much. So, Groudon and Kyogre, as most people know, these are very powerful restricted, usually paired with Zacian or Yveltal or Calyrex Shadow, or pick your very hyper offensive damage dealing restricted, and that's usually what they're paired with. So
personally, I am not a fan of restricteds that share like a common weakness, So like Groudon plus Zacian, I'm not a big fan of because they're both extremely they're both very weak to intimidate. Like I don't, I if I'm playing one physical, I prefer my second one to also be a special attacker,
Yeah.
or just something along those lines. So I've been working on like Yveltal plus Zacian because I think that that's a very dynamic team building decision, because not only do you have the ground immunity on Yveltal, but like they're able to constantly swap in and back to each other for hits and such.
Which we talked about that a little bit on a deep dive real early on for Series 12.
Mm-hmm.
You can go and catch that on the YouTube channel. But yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat there where I like having mixed damage on my restricteds. I don't like having overlapping damage types for the most part. Yveltal kind of being like the one exception. It's going to run physical and special moves just because of what it does and what it's trying to do.
For sure. And like you can, I mean, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, you can play support Yveltal with like Tailwind as well, but I mean, not really my jam. I would rather click damaging attacks and do damage, but to each their own.
Yeah. So we know we're working with Groudon and Kyogre. One of the things I like to do when I'm team building is I kind of like to get the 6 Pokemon figured out before I start doing moves.
Before we start
EVs
punching numbers and everything else.
Yeah. And my focus is always just like trying to find the best supports for these things. We have the starting of a very powerful core here. Obviously, we're going to be probably adding Venusaur.
Yep. That was literally going to be my next suggestion.
It's like, the first big check we have to make since we're playing Groudon.
Like, you want to be able to have like some type of Sun Abuser, I feel like, on these teams. Whereas with Kyogre, you don't really need a Rain Abuser. No. Kyogre is your Rain Abuser.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Groudon, it likes the Sun because, you know, it reduces that water attack damage going into it. But, like, you don't get stab benefit on your attacks that Kyogre does.
Yeah. And then Venusaur obviously is going to be our Sun Abuser of choice for the most part. I see a lot of people also putting, like, Charizard in this slot depending on how they're building their teams out. Which you could honestly probably slap Charizard on this team too and maybe get away with it.
Like playing Venusaur plus Charizard plus the double restricted. I don't hate that. I feel like you're really pigeonholed to being a Sun team with Kyogre occasionally, I feel like. But
yeah,
at the same time, when Sun is good, Sun is what you want to be doing anyway. So, like, you don't always have to bring both of your restricteds to a match. And that's something that, especially in Series 12, I don't think enough people have learned yet, that if a restricted is bad in a matchup, you don't have to bring it because it's a restricted.
Yeah.
You have 4 slots on your team to bring the 4 best Pokemon.
Yeah. And like you said, talking about like Sun being good, well, if Sun's good, like Venusaur is for Groudon, then I would assume Zapdos is to Kyogre. Just a really good like Rain Abuser that covers a lot of Kyogre's weaknesses. And is just kind of just doubles as just like good coverage, good Pokemon stuff. This slot could also probably be like a Thundurus slot if you really wanted to do that.
I was actually thinking the same thing. Like Safety Goggles Thundy could be good here. Like Assault Vest could be fine. You could be even like Citrus Berry, and you could be Prankster. Like having Groudon next to Prankster Thundurus, like in Team Preview, they're incentivized not to bring Intimidate. So this gives you like some form of speed control with like Thunder Wave here as well.
Mm-hmm. Which, one of the things that I've noticed for Series 12 teams and probably should be focused on more is you don't have to max your restricteds every time, and you don't have to play restricteds that max really well. Like, I actually prefer restricteds that aren't forced to max every game over the ones that feel like they're a must max. And now there's options that are fine like that, where like Yveltal is a very good max target. Zygarde, when it's popular, that's a very strong max target and things like that. But like Groudon and Kyogre on their face, they don't like to max too often because they get punished by the weather switching. And you want to be able to pivot those guys in and out, take advantage of your weather and do stuff like that. So I like having strong max options that aren't these two, and I think Venusaur Thundy do this very, very well. They pair very well with these two.
For sure. And I think you could make the same argument that like Thundurus plus Kyogre is still just good. Like you're gonna be able to max and get like an Airstream off, which is your pseudo Tailwind for your Kyogre, and that's just good enough sometimes. Thundurus plus Groudon is also fine because then you have your Defiant boost if you're doing that route. If we do end up being Prankster, like having access to like Thunder Wave, so then Kyogre can fire off things that way as well is good.
You get access to Thunder Wave. What other special?
You get Taunt. You get Eerie Impulse is the big one, I think.
Yeah, Eerie Impulse is the big one.
That lets you win against opposing Kyogres a bunch, I feel like. Like, Leer is not the dumbest thing I've ever heard, especially if you're doing like Precipice Blades from Groudon. That's just good.
Rain Dance makes it a budget version of Tornadus, where we can do like Rain Dance things to help our Kyogre. There's just a swagger. There's swagger strats if you're playing Tapu Fini. It's like that's an option for people. Scary Face if you're really worried about Thunder Wave being a issue, like trying to Thunder Wave into like a Groudon,
opposing Groudons,
or Landorus, or whatever. You could always just play Scary Face instead. Same kind of rules for Grimmsnarl apply here. So there's a lot that the Prankster one can do. I think the Defiant one is just better.
Yeah, probably for what we're trying to do here.
If we were wanting to play Prankster, we could probably just play Zapdos and probably do better. But I like having the Defiant here. It helps the Groudon out by deterring Intimidators. It plays okay with Kyogre still. So we've got a fairly strong core here. We've got Fire, Water, Grass kind of started, if you count Groudon being like a fake fire type.
And say if we want an actual fire type, of course, we could always just slap on like Incin into that slot.
Incineroar's fine in the slot. Other crazy fire types I can think of.
It's like Rotom Heat, I don't hate.
I don't hate Rotom Heat. I don't hate Centiskorch right now.
Like Talonflame gives you like a pseudo version of Tornadus as well for like being able to do Talonflame Kyogre as a lead is not the worst thing I've ever heard.
If you're really wanting to go like deep into the pool of fire types, there's like Alola Marowak, which has Lightning Rod,
which then protects your Kyogre. You do need to be weary of like Thundurus next to Marowak, because if you're maxing your Thundurus, of course you don't want to waste a turn of your max.
Yeah, don't want to max Lightning next to your Alola Marowak.
Definitely have never done that before.
But I still think the Incineroar is probably the play here. Intimidate's a very powerful ability. Incineroar helps check against opposing Cali's Shadow, which we currently can't really just smack down very easily. Thundurus can help with that a little bit, but like our current play is just like, here's Groudon, here's Venusaur, hope we outspeed it and keep weather control to beat it.
Yeah, for sure. I honestly don't hate... Who are we talking about?
Incineroar.
No. I don't hate Talonflame in this slot either. Like, to be 100% honest, it gives you a little more versatile leads, I think. But like the Intimidate on Incin is really useful.
Like I feel like Intimidate
Talonflame is not really a fire type. It's there to set Tailwind and die.
Yeah, like I feel like Incineroar overall is just going to be better.
We do get Hurricane on Talonflame.
Yeah, like if you're going to play Talonflame anymore, you play Special Talonflame so you don't take extra recoil damage from Brave Bird or Flare Blitz, because we like having full HP for Gale Wings. Yeah, I don't know. Like you could do like Will-O-Wisp, Overheat, Hurricane, Tailwind.
Protect is useful. U-Turn's useful.
You could always slap Quick Guard on that thing. If you don't really care for the fire type attacks, I think Quick Guard is probably
better than
like they're going to quick
access
fake out.
To Will-O-Wisp on this. This doesn't seem awful.
Like max speed is
real fast. We get to 195.
Like we're only being outsped by opposing Zacian and Calyrex shadows and things like that. But with Tailwind up, we can easily just ignore that. Another good option if we really just want to not play any of those is just playing Tornadus. Just playing the Torn Ogre combo. Like, this Pokemon's great at just being doing what Talonflame's doing, being that real fast Tailwind setter, has access to things like Icy Wind if you want to do stuff like that.
Which is just an additional form of speed control.
Yeah. Like, if Tailwind's not good, you could use Icy Wind. And just, I think Tornadus is probably just actually the play here.
Yeah, sure. Let's lock it in.
I don't know what moves we're playing yet, so I'm just gonna take.
Well, definitely Tailwind. We know.
Well,
that
yeah,
much.
we know that, but so this kind of opens the door into filling out some of the rest of these cores. Like you said, Fire, Water, Grass. If we're not playing Talonflame, I think Incineroar is just the best line here. Having access to a dark type is good because Prankster, like, Taunt's a thing. Having Prankster Taunt is very, very popular right now. I think Grimmsnarl is like one of the most popular like Prankster mons right now, and they're running Taunt just to stop anything else that's not Prankster dark type. Like, so Incineroar is like one of the better Taunt users right now, in my opinion. I personally prefer Throat Chop. Just being able to just beat opposing Incineroars because that's all I care about. But people are playing Taunt on this thing. It's just a very good, just like, stop it. Get some help.
I approve. Yeah, this seems like a pretty decent setup so far.
The last slot is where I always have trouble. So I'm currently struggling right now with my own teams that I'm working on. I have a lot of 5-mon teams. I don't have a lot of full teams. I feel like I have the hardest time picking a 6th Pokemon on most teams.
So let's look here. We have our Fire, Water, Grass core. We have we have a couple decent answers to like Zacian in the forms of Incineroar plus Groudon. Venusaur doesn't line up terrible there because we can like Sleep Powder it, and we also have access to Earth Power. We really kind of lack offensive pressure against Calyrex Shadow. I think that's like one matchup that we would really want to shore up in some way. We don't do great against like opposing Yveltal either. Like, we are able to potentially set up Tailwind against them and outspeed them to then smack them with like Kyogre. But past that, we don't really have a solid answer. So this might just want to be like Eliki in this last slot, just something that outspeeds everything else that's going on and puts on a ton of offensive pressure.
Yeah, I could see that definitely just being like the go-to Pokemon. Like, this thing is, we all know this thing is insanely fast. It's 277 at max speed with the right nature. There's people who are playing physical Eleki right now. It's just like another option that's really, really cool. But so yeah, with Eleki, I think we're not as pigeonholed into Tailwind like strategies, and we could probably do something like crazy in forms of speed control, get away from this Tornadus. But
yeah, I don't hate that.
The question is just like, what do you play in this slot?
Could just honestly be Grimmsnarl.
I think you want to keep a flying type because you do now have a ground weakness in Eleki, and having something to pivot into to take those Max Quakers or whatever to help keep that Regieleki healthy.
So this could obviously, like, I think let's look at flying types here. Like, we could be Charizard.
Yeah, this could just be Charizard slot in Charizard, and be the normal dual weather teams that, like, the normal hot dog teams with Kyogre on them.
Could also be Landorus, because that gives us an electric immunity for Kyogre. It does give us another water weakness, which we already have 2.
Yeah, which we already have Groudon to be an electric check, so that's not really a big concern, I feel like.
I've seen talks of Pelipper running back around. We don't really have anything that 100% wants Focus Sash on our team. Like Venusaur could use it. Eliki obviously could as well. But like I feel like that's all Pelipper is going to do is like tailwind things and then maybe take a hit, but
So
I'm not in love with it.
what if we were talking about the wrong Zapdos all along?
I was thinking about it, man. I just saw it and I'm just like, man, that's not the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
So Galarian Zapdos, we're getting a shiny soon. That's a big plus there.
I just want my big bird.
It's not something we see a whole lot of. It's still a decent Pokemon. Like we still have real good stats. Base 100 speed, base 125 attack, decent defenses and HP across the board. It's just your move coverage is a little lacking.
We get coaching, so we can boost our Groudon.
Like you do get fast coaching. You get Thunderous Kick, which is cool.
I also get Throat Chop for opposing Incin.
Yep, that's another thing that's really cool.
At that point, I feel like you should just be kicking them.
Yeah.
It does give us another weakness to Cali Shadow. Is my big concern there.
Like the most they're gonna if they're clicking Psyshock, you're going to win the game. I feel like if that's the case, because you're leading like Incineroar Zapdos, and they have to click Astral Barrage into that to try and even pick up the Zapdos. Because if they stop and click Psyshock into the Zapdos, they're not damaging the Incineroar, and the Incineroar just chops down the Calyrex.
So let's look here. What physical attacks do we actually get access to? Steel Wing, Stomping Tantrum, U-Turn, Blaze Kick. Sun Boosted Blaze Kick sounds adorable.
Yeah. I played Scarf Zapdos Galar way back at the start of like when this thing was put into the game, and like having access to like Scarf coaching is really good. Having access to Scarf U-Turn if you need to get out's really good. And then obviously you have like the flying type moves if you want to max this thing. Scarf Thunderous Kick's really, really strong too. So there's a lot that I think Zapdos could do for this team while also not doubling up on being like an electric type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. This also just like another defiant mon because we got rid of Thunderous. And
yeah,
it just...
let's do it, man. This is what team building is for, is figure out what is good.
Okay. So
we have our 6.
We have our 6.
Go in and
probably do items and moves, and then we'll figure out our EVs a little bit later.
So the big question is, where do we want our Citrus Berry? Do we want it on Incin or Groudon? I feel like Citrus Groudon is probably going to be more useful, because then we can also be like Sword Stance.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, Citrus Berry or White Herb are the big Groudon items that I like. I don't like Assault Vest. You kind of
could also be Lum.
Lum is also an option, yeah. My big worry is, like you said, Calyrex Shadow is going to be a problem for us. We're not taking that thing out very, very quickly, and Calyrex Shadow turns off our berry. So, I'm not sure.
Today I learned Groudon technically gets Dark coverage.
Yeah.
Brutal Swing and Fling.
Yes. There was I don't remember if you remember Wolfie's Fling Iron Ball Groudon.
Mm-hmm. I do remember that now that I'm actually looking at it.
So item-wise, there's a lot of options here. You could really play just about anything.
Let's start with the obvious one. Kyogre is going to be Mystic Water.
Yeah, this is Mystic Water. We know what this is going to be.
Venusaur is probably where our Life Orb is going to end up. Could also be Magnet in this slot. That lets us have our Life Orb on like potentially Venusaur or Zapdos.
Aleki could also just be Sash.
Yeah, honestly.
Because we don't really have a good Sash target besides like the Incineroar or the Venusaur. I have no idea about Zapdos. We'll come back to that. So this was where we were interested in. It's like Citrus Berry here, Citrus Berry here. We could, if we play Assault Vest on Incineroar, we lose access to Parting Shot. which
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that. I would rather have access to like Taunt and Parting Shot if we really want to. So like, oh no, I'm working on Venusaur. That's not where Fake Out goes.
Fake Out Venusaur, new meta.
Blitz. We want probably Parting Shot and
the last move is usually up for debate depending on how the rest of the moves are going to fill out. Like if we put a dark move on Zapdos, we won't really need it on Incineroar.
Yeah, that's true.
But if we don't put dark coverage on Zapdos, you probably want to run Throat Chop in that last slot.
Man, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I wish Incin had access to coaching.
Right? That'd be nuts. Imagine
It'd be
coaching,
very, very good.
Imagine coaching Incineroar. Holy crap. That's too much. Too much going on there.
Honestly, I don't hate, like, Will-O-Wisp Incin. I've seen it, and every time I do, I get bodied by it.
Will-O-Wisp is cool. I just feel like we're not going to be fast enough to actually make it matter.
That's the big thing, yeah.
Unless you're running unless you were doing this, you ready for this stuff? This is going to be a lesson in Incineroars. So back in the late formats of the restricted formats, we ran max speed.
It's not the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
We ran max speed, no bulk. No actual good bulk, but we made sure we had enough attack to where we can pick up Zacian with Flare Blitz. I don't remember what that number is anymore because that was so long ago.
It's at least, 252 will do it. So.
Well, yeah.
But now we're also in Sun, so we can have that.
Yeah, we don't have to have all that investment into attack if the Sun's going to be up. You know what I mean?
I feel like this is kind of just a waste of a sash, though.
Well, this was just what the set was max speed with sash, so you're guaranteed to do your thing, either take out the Zacian, set up the Will-O-Wisp. If you make sure that you outspeed any other Incineroar that's not max speed, things of that nature. You make sure your fake outs first.
I was gonna say it's good for fake out for sure.
Fun fact is you outspeed Rillaboom naturally this way. Because most Rillaboom aren't going to put that much investment into speed like that. They're mostly going to be sitting around that 120 range. Now, granted, they've gotten faster since then, but back then, max speed Incineroar wasn't a thing. Most people weren't worried about it. So you could definitely do that if that's something you're interested in. But if we're not playing max speed, I really don't want to play Will-O-Wisp. I think I'd rather just play Taunt or Throat Chop in this last slot.
We'll come back to that last slot because that and the item are the two things I'm not really sure what we want to do on Instant yet. Do we want to be degenerate? Okay, we do.
Of course we do. Why would we not want to be degenerate? And then
who's ready for Max Geyser Venusaur?
Yeah, that's gonna catch a lot of people off guard. So the cool combo is we obviously know the power of this together, but Kyogre and Venusaur means that you do get access to Max Geyser, so you can bop that Charizard with a rain boosted Max Geyser. Weather Ball is just that cool. This is another where it's just Focus Sash could be the item on Venusaur. You could play Bulky Weakness Policy if you were running screens, which we could do that on Alecki. We could run screens Alecki.
I feel like there's better screen setter though.
There is.
I think Alecki is probably best used as a Dynamax target here.
I feel like most of the time we're probably Dynamaxing one of these 5. This is what's cool about this team is everything feels like it can max except the Incineroar. And that's what I like my Series 12 teams to be, is that anything can be a possible max target, so my opponent has to plan for anything being a max target besides Incineroar, obviously. Which you could easily make it a maxable Incineroar if you just slap Throat Chop on here. Just saying. Max Strike is still good. You have access to Max Guard.
Yep.
So we obviously know what Venusaur is going to be doing. It's just the item we got to figure out. Most of them that are doing this are just Copa Berry.
We could steal a page out of Rowan's book and make this weakness policy.
Just bulky weakness policy with no screens. I feel like we really need screens, though.
I haven't tried it in this format, so I have no idea how much we just die instead.
I can tell you for a fact that you really want screens if you're going to be weakness policy Venusaur because your bulk is.
That's true. We don't have Grimmsnarl here, and that was like a big crucial member of that team.
Which you don't have to. We don't have to play Zapdos. If we find out that we like Grimmsnarl, we could just swap this to weakness policy. But for right now, I think Koba is just the safe bet because everyone's going to be Sash
for sure.
Like everyone's gonna max Airstream into Venusaur. That's almost a guaranteed, right? Probably want to do max speed. I have no idea what the calcs for damage are for Venusaur.
This looks great.
I mean, if we were Focus Sash, sure. But there's probably some calcs we need to do to figure out for Copa
sure.
Berry. But we definitely know that we're just going to max speed on this thing. Same with this thing. So this is where we kind of get back into the whole. We're kind of just stuck on this Incineroar, Groudon, Zapdos trio. What are we doing with these guys?
Okay, so we could. Let's see. Let's do build the Kyogre real quick. I want Ice Beam over like Thunder.
We don't need Thunder. Yeah, we have this thing.
I want Scald over Origin Pulse.
Yeah, so we don't get got by Wide Guard.
Yep. Like sure we have Ice Beam, but yeah, whatever. Like we don't need Kyogre to be our Kyogre answer. That's what we have Venusaur for, and
exactly. Yeah, we got two good answers to water types because we have two good weaknesses to water types.
So, I think Groudon having like Swords Dance and doing stuff like that is probably the route we want to go here. Like Swords Dance and then
just do the standard.
Yeah, I feel like the standard set is standard for a reason.
Yeah. Like that's kind of the idea is like the standard set's going to be standard because it's good. Like there's a reason that this is the standard set. We could just be Shuka.
I don't hate Shuka. I don't hate like Chople.
I think Max Quake's gonna be. Oh, I don't want that. I think Max Quake's gonna be more prevalent than us running into like we know what's gonna be running fighting type coverage. Ground type coverage is much more prevalent. Like people are going to do Max Quakes more often, especially with this, and this sitting across from them.
My thought process, my process is like we also have a flying type, so we can potentially swap in on Quakes.
Max Quake.
But yeah, I think that one is like pick the one you want to die to, basically.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to die to Sacred Sword on Zacian, or would you rather lose to like Groudon?
Exactly.
It's whatever. I honestly am fine with either.
So that puts us in a weird spot where we have Zapdos pretty much done.
Well, everything but Zapdos.
Have we decided if we're doing physical or special Elec yet?
I prefer special, especially since we don't have like swagger on this team.
Okay.
We can play Thunder on Elec because we have Rain.
We can, but we also have Sun.
Does that lower the accuracy?
No, but I would rather
fine.
my move
Thunder.
hits.
We have Electro Web when that's a problem.
Yeah, like
we could also be cheeky and play Ancient Power.
Nah, Hyper Beam. Max Strike's good.
Yeah, I agree.
So we can do that.
Do we want Sash or do we want Life Orb on Elec?
If we're
if we're playing Hyper Beam, I want to be Life Orb, I think.
Okay.
So that frees up our Sash. Do we want to put that back on Venusaur?
I like that better on Venusaur if that's what we're doing.
And then we can just be max speed, max special attack.
Yep, just go burr.
I feel like everything we've talked about, we've just like done it like 6 times.
Yeah. What are we doing with this thing?
You know, things.
So my rule of 2s here for Pokemon is 2 restricteds, 2 good max targets, and then 2 supports. Obviously Zapdos Galar isn't the most noticeable support.
Does Zapdos with Scarflet as outspeed Eliki?
Yeah, base 100.
Interesting.
Because the number is I think the number is it's like 150 something.
I'm looking.
It's like 152. No. Yeah, I think it's 152.
No, we need to get way faster.
At +1?
Where yeah, we need to outspeed 277. We need like 185.
Oh, okay then. Then we can't outspeed Eleki with Scarf.
Yeah, 184 gets to 276. 185 gets to 277.
So we would need.
All right, never mind. No coaching Eliki.
Yeah, no, we can't coach our Eliki. No.
Lame.
Which we weren't really going to be in the position.
I was hoping we could. I was hoping we could swap the physical Eliki and coach it. We could play slower, bulkier Eliki.
No. Like the only way we do that is
we would be what does max speed Modest get to?
Max speed Modest is 252.
I need to be 250. We would need to be 249 because Zapdos gets to 250.
Well, we actually technically only need to be that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
We need to be 223 because
and
unless
then we can be adamant with HP. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do physical Eliki with Scarf Zapdos.
Okay. Not Wildfire.
I please.
No,
please.
Not that
Max
one.
Wildfire Eliki.
Not that one.
Giga Impact.
No.
That's fair.
What
other physical moves do we get? We get Bounce.
We get Bounce. Yeah. We get Assurance.
Assurance is actually really hot.
Which then frees this up to be Taunt.
Now we click Coaching, and that's all we do.
That's not true.
No. That's where it ends. Just coaching Zapdos.
Blaze Kick because Sun boosted things.
And Sun boosted, Choice Scarf boosted, Blaze Kick against Zacian is going to hurt. Ta-da.
Ta-da. So last move here, probably just a flying type move.
Probably like Brave Bird. Do we get Brave Bird or
we get Brave Bird.
Is our best? Okay, yeah.
We get Brave Bird.
Lock it in.
So we have this weird Eleki set. I don't know what we're doing with that. It's just bulk.
You want to fix our EVs from special attack to attack?
Yeah.
This is an Eleki set to be sure.
Probably just want to go max.
Nailed it. I think we can just pull all that from the defenses and just put it into HP.
Nah.
Okay.
Leave it alone. Because it's magic numbers, life orb numbers.
Sure.
I can't change that. Unless I can get to another 9. There's no point. Unless another 9, max HP is another 9, which we can't get to.
Yeah,
because of the speed.
We need to get to the speed, yeah.
So, just leave it alone.
Sure. You talked me into it. I'll allow you to do it this way.
Boop.
Most ensigns are getting to 89.
Boop. If I remember my calcs correctly, that's the magic numbers for that.
Looks great.
That one's done. I don't remember my Groudon numbers. They're all over the place still.
I had a Groudon set I liked.
Since we're not playing...
I was playing fast Groudon. Yeah, this team was hot.
How fast was Groudon?
140.
Oh God, are we jolly?
Yeah, we're jolly 140.
Okay, now
which gets us to 140.
Like 140, like without jolly is a lot of investment, and I don't like that. I would rather
because my thought process is because we're Swords Dance, we don't need all the attack investment, especially since we're base 150 attack anyway.
Yeah. So let's see here. Like we could go to 149 and do Alecki things but we don't have E-Web.
Yeah, but we have Max Strike.
Yeah.
149 gets us for what?
149 is faster than -1 max speed Calyrex Shadow.
Okay.
We're not getting to outspeeding Regieleki numbers, but we don't care about Regieleki with this thing. I feel like we'd want the rest in like decent bulk.
Yeah, I have 148 HP,
that
76
low.
76 defense, and 140 special defense, but I also am way faster, so.
You say 140 in special defense?
Uh-huh. You're way faster than I am, though.
I'm only a few points faster than you. Like that's... I don't know if that's significant.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That implies I ran calcs.
See, that's the magic numbers. You didn't do math. I've done math, so like I know that this is a key number.
Sure, sounds great.
I like more HP, honestly.
There's a reason I got to 140. What gets to 139?
I don't know. I know the number for I know the numbers for like speeds. I don't know the numbers for like defenses and whatnot, but 140 is 139 is a weird number. I will tell you that 139 is a very weird number.
There's a reason I can't remember. I'm sure I'll come up with it. Maybe it was base 70s? I don't know.
Well, base 60s is 123 at max speed. I can tell you that because that's what Incineroar is. And that's usually the number we go for was just like 124.
Yeah, but like if we're gonna play fast, we might as well play to like I think that 149 is probably good.
Yeah. Fun fact: this outspeeds it should outspeed Modest Kyogre too. Yeah. Which we're not going to be Modest Kyogre.
No, we're gonna be timid and we're gonna punch some people. Could also be the lefties bulky Kyogre, but I hate that set.
I was about to ask if you wanted to be that.
Nope, I hate that set and wish it didn't exist. Why did they give Kyogre Calm Mind?
I think it's actually really cool. I like it a lot.
I hate it.
Which then you'd want to change Water Spout to Origin Pulse probably. Have Calm Mind over the second Water type move and run Ice Beam in that last slot. So these are our sets for the moment. Obviously, things will change probably as we go through here.
This team looks hot.
This team looks great.
What are we doing?
So this is 2/3 of the ZZ Top core that I like to play with. The rest of this, I have no idea what's going on.
By 2/3, do you mean exactly the two Z's?
Yes. It's ZZ Colossal. So, how do we beat Colossal? Because I feel like that's the answer we have to do. Is like, how do we beat this thing?
Instant plus Kyogre. Fake out their Inteleon, and then they get blown up.
We also have Ice Beam, which deals with this really well.
Mm-hmm.
We do have to watch out for
Wide Guard, but
Wide
that's
Guard
why we play
Snarl.
Scald.
And then honestly,
I think
this feels like a Max Kyogre kind of game.
I agree.
So
I
probably
don't hate
bling...
like Groudon Zapdos in the back, but I don't think it's particularly great.
Like,
I think
that's what I was trying to think.
I think Groudon plus Venu is probably fine in the back.
Yeah.
Roserade, Grimmsnarl.
So this feels like a free smack this thing, Ice Beam this thing.
Yeah, fake out into the Grimmsnarl.
We could just fake out in the Grimmsnarl.
Yeah, because that'll prevent screens.
Well, this speed ties us. That's why I was like, fake out the Roserade, Ice Beam it. Because this is likely carrying a Sash, and it speed ties Kyogre.
Yeah, sure. Smack them. Why would you set up Reflect there?
Probably expecting Flare Blitz.
That's fair. But even in the sun, then we can taunt this Grimmsnarl.
I do not want to be put to sleep, because that's what this thing's job is to put people to sleep.
So we'll swap to Venusaur.
We could play Goggles on Ensign to play around that in the future.
It is true. I don't like that Ensign's sprite doesn't move.
Neither does Grimmsnarls.
I know, but it's weird.
Get over it. I like the Gen 5 sprites. Leave me alone.
Okay. Spirit Break into Arvinu. That's pretty alright.
This feels like the perfect time to just
swap in Groudon Max and smack him.
Yeah, this feels like a perfect time to do that.
Like, oh no, we're at -1, but whatever.
Yeah, like, I don't think this thing's frail enough that it still just takes a full blast from this,
I think their
Lash.
play is swap Grimmsnarl into Cole, so what we could do is just go for Max Quake into the Venusaur slot.
Into the Grimmsnarl slot, you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's Max Quake the Grimmsnarl.
That seems fine. And before we get hit by Ice Beam. They just max. Okay. They're going to go for Hailstorm into Venusaur.
That's fine. That didn't do a lot. That also did not do a lot. But now they're faster, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
So we swap Kyogre in Max Guard.
Yep. And then we'd have to pivot Groudon back in and Vine Lash the heck out of this thing. We are -2 now.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate. Maxing there might have been a little greedy, but...
Had we max Vine Lash like we originally planned, I don't think this Inteleon lives.
Even at -1, you're probably right.
So they pivot into Roserade.
They went for Airstream. Okay. So yeah, now
That's
we can go
good.
Groudon and we can Vine Lash the Inteleon.
Yep.
It's weird to me that they only set up Reflect.
Well, we taunted after the first.
Yeah,
after
but
the
even
second one.
still, I feel like Reflect on 1 when you're facing down a Kyogre is weird. Oof.
Oh, we're gonna go down to Hail. That's fine. Oh, we didn't go down to Hail.
That's even more fine.
So now what do we do?
I feel like we're very dead.
I don't know.
I like Ensign in the Groudon slot.
Then we could probably just switch into.
Yeah, I like that.
Just double
try
pivot.
to preserve Venusaur for half a second.
Yeah, like if we can get Venusaur out with a sleep powder, we can easily deal with this thing. We actually haven't even seen a restricted from them yet. They brought 3 non-restricted, so that means they've only brought 1 of Zygarde Zamazenta.
Oof.
Glad we pivoted when we did.
Toxic spikes. All right, we'll bring in Venusaur. Get those absorbed. Swap back into Groudon and Leaf Storm the Inteleon. Or we can Weather Ball the Roserade.
I think taking care of this Inteleon is how we win this game.
I don't want to Leaf Storm then. I think we want to Earth Power.
Yeah. And then pivot into Groudon. Mm-hmm.
I think this is fine. Got him.
Like, we lose our Groudon, so we lose our speed boost.
We also lose weather.
But I think that's Kyogre. Fine.
Yeah, this should probably be Grimmsnarl coming back in. Yep.
Grimmsnarl's back in. We know this is a speed tie. I actually think Weather Ball is going to be a better move here than Earth Power into Grimmsnarl.
I like clicking Spout.
It's just, that thing is going to hurt.
Yeah, but we're not KOing it.
I mean, we're gonna have to take a Earth Power is neutral into it.
Yeah, but it's still going to be faster. Earth Power plus Water Spout's probably the play.
I just think taking this thing out is super more important than this thing sitting here in front of me. Like, I don't care about this Grimmsnarl. It's going to Spirit Break me once.
Yeah, which is the problem. I think we just protect.
I think we just protect this turn.
Fair. Let's see what they do.
Oh, they just have Sucker Punch.
Oh, that's
so it didn't
even
matter.
more rude.
So it didn't actually matter.
Crit the Roserade.
I guess that's what we're gonna have to hope for.
I don't even think a crit takes it out.
I was gonna Water Spout.
That's fair. We know they're Black Sludge.
Yep.
Sit up, Reflect again against my Kyogre.
No, they set up Light Screen this time. Got the crit on the Grim. That's important. They're going to Leech Seed here. Yep. Colossal. It's like the one thing I want to see. Zygarde's fine.
Zygarde's not the worst.
Oh, goodness.
All right, you win.
Scald the Zamazenta, because they're likely going to just click Wide Guard here.
Mm-hmm.
Wide Guard Protect.
I think if they do that, it's probably Snarl Protect.
Some kind of combination here. Hoping for a Scald burn here. Okay, that's fine. No burn.
Never lucky.
And we got the poison. Yep.
Never lucky. It's like the opposite of lucky.
I think not hitting the Inteleon when we did was the big key thing there. Like, we didn't hit the Inteleon when we probably should have.
How do we deal with Xerneas? The correct answer is Water Spout it.
We just hit it with a Water Spout, right? Like, we delete this.
Yep.
And they end up fearing a Lecky and they swap out and we just hit Water Spout.
Yep. I like Ensign quite a bit. And I think I want Zapdos. We could lead Zapdos plus Eliki or Zapdos Kyogre.
I actually like Zapdos Eliki.
Okay.
Because we still outspeed this thing. We can hit it with this Max Darkness and blow it up. And if it's Sash, then this thing will still outspeed it, and we can break that Sash if we need to. While you turning into our whatever weather we want to do.
Like, if they lead Landorus here, we can max Zapdos at +1.
Yeah.
I think this is probably Kyogre plus Venu. Or Kyogre Ensign. Like, Venu's not putting anything to sleep, most likely.
Ensign's not doing anything against them.
We have Taunt.
That's not worth it. Like,
yeah, probably Venu. I just don't like bringing Venu without Sun. Got him. Now we can pivot Eliki out because we're physical.
Yeah, we can just literally just probably go into Ogre. And what are we going to do here? Just
We don't have a way of dealing with Feeny. We can set Sun for Venusaur with Blaze Kick.
We could.
And then, I actually like that. We pivot to Venusaur, and then we max Flare the Landorus.
Okay.
Because now we have, like, this is one position I wish we had Brave Bird on Zapdos still.
Yeah.
But
well, the plan was to never max this thing.
It's true. But now we got a Defiant boost.
Yep, there's their max. There's our max. We're faster than the Landorus, so. And now we're tied. And now they're faster.
But we're faster with Venu, so we can Sleep Powder the Landorus.
Indeedee's just gonna follow me.
And max guard this turn.
If this thing ends up being Venu. Like, if this thing ends up being Lum, we're going to be sad.
Yeah. We're probably going to end up being sad anyway.
Opponent?
Got him!
Clearly, opponent doesn't know how things work.
I kind of like Flutterby into the Feeny.
Yeah.
Like, Landorus isn't doing anything.
Like, double into Feeny here, hope to take it out. Yeah, that'll do it.
Goodbye.
That'll do it.
Now Landorus is at -1 special attack. That's really what was important there.
That's super what was important. I'd be surprised
if... That plays around a Indeedee switch as well. Yeah, Cali Shadow comes out, and now we're choice. Now we get our choice scarf.
Yeah. I think we just double into this slot.
Yeah, just kick it.
Like, we either double in the slot or we Leaf Storm into Landorus.
I don't hate Leaf Storm into Lando. Like, try to deal with it before it wakes up.
That does no damage.
Honestly, okay damage. That's honestly less damage than I anticipated. Now I get my Eliki.
Now we get Eliki out.
I think I want to pivot Venu out.
Yeah. And
Assurance it, yeah.
Assurance this thing.
We're probably going to lose Eliki this turn to an Earthquake. That's a good protect. Yeah. That's a good protect. Yep.
And then we lose.
Should have read that half a second earlier. Just click Water Spout. And
we don't take the Astral Barrage. We're just dead.
Just let it happen.
No, we're just dead.
Yeah, you're
I know when we're dead.
I mean, same. All right. What do we?
So what did we learn here?
Not a lot, to be honest with you.
I don't like these two. These two don't feel great.
They don't feel great, especially together.
This is obviously just whatever. This is just a test to see if we like this or not. I don't like it, and I don't like Eleki on this team.
We can probably delete them and play Thundurus in that slot instead. Thundurus just does the Defiant thing better.
It does the Defiant thing better. We just get to slap Assault Vest on it. We get Foul Play, Fly,
Brick Break, and Wild Charge.
I don't remember my set, but I know it's this.
Give me 2 seconds. I have it.
Can't remember if it's 92 HP. Good amount of attack. I don't remember. I have it somewhere.
164.
That's what it was.
84. 4. Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then the last slot could probably be whatever you really need it to be, honestly.
I think we want Tailwind on this team really bad.
Like, you could just play Tornadus still. Like, Like,
maybe that's the Defiant Mon we want.
That doesn't do anything.
No, it does not. We could be Life Orb Tornadus.
Yeah, that's usually the common thing we see nowadays. Like
Life
bulky
Orb or
Life
Sash,
Orb.
yeah.
Because let's be honest, we're getting our Tailwind off every time. It don't matter. We don't really want Rain Dance.
No, not on this set. We don't. We could just be. I don't hate like Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse's coverage for Cali Shadow seems pretty cool.
Yeah. Just slap that on there and then
protect.
Do that with it.
Yeah. Just have, instead of Icy Wind, just play Dark Pulse.
Yeah. Just have a second way of just dealing with.
So we cut Assurance Eliki, so we probably want to go back to Throat Chop Ensign.
Well, we cut Assurance.
Oh yeah, yeah,
added
right.
Foul Play.
I forgot we added Foul Play as well.
And Dark Pulse Tornadoes.
Yeah. And
we
then
have double
just, like,
options there.
Max speed, max special attack. Beautiful. Timid.
Da, 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 da.
All right, jumping back into games.
Well, we ain't got time for any more games.
That's fair.
Unfortunately.
That's fair. I think this is fine. It leaves us really weak to Cali Ice. But like Cali Ice is pretty well taken care of between like Ensign and like Groudon just pressuring what they're doing before they get to set up Trick Room. Or even like Ensign Thundy.
Yeah.
We get to put on a ton of pressure against them immediately anyway. So I don't know. I don't feel awful about what we did today.
No, this is a good starting point, especially on an archetype that no one's explored.
Or as widely explored, we should say.
Talking about as widely explored, Team of the Week this week, before we go, you played this for laddering this past week, and did fairly well.
I did. To be fair, I was playing in Pokeball, so...
Still really had a real strong showing. Did really, really well. So
let's see.
So this is Kyurem Black Kyogre with Amoonguss, Tornadus, Grimmsnarl, and Landorus. So the idea was just like, Rain's really good. Let's play Kyurem Black with that. Kyurem Black happens to have good electric coverage as well, so it kind of covers Kyogre's weakness. Helps against opposing Kyogre because, let's be honest, Kyogre can't really beat Kyogre unless you're carrying Thunder, and you probably don't want to be carrying Thunder on Kyogre most of the time.
That was one complaint I had about this Kyogre is I wish it was Ice Beam instead, because there was a couple different games where I ended up playing against Gastrodon, and like the end game against Gastrodon is really awkward with this Kyogre because you literally can't touch it. One game, I think Kyogre had already gone down, so Gastrodon wasn't a concern. And the other game, I had to click Thunder while my Grimmsnarl Spirit broke it.
Yeah. Got 2 lucky crits there and managed to pick up the win on that one.
I think we would have won that game regardless.
Yeah, you were in a winning position either way, but the crits sped up the process. This is Life Orb Landorus, Rock Slide Fly, Earthquake Swords Dance. That feels super duper standard at this point. It's one of my more favorite sets. Who needs Protect when you're just going to max the thing anyway, right?
I did really like this Kyurem set. I could see changing Lum to White Herb because there was I think it was game 1. I got intimidated and then I did basically nothing. Like,
yeah, that happens.
The amount of damage output that this has when intimidated is so lackluster, and it's so disappointing.
So, fun fact about how numbers work. The bigger the number when you take it by a smaller number, the numbers are going to get significantly smaller compared to a smaller number being taken by that smaller number.
That is, in fact, how math works, yes.
So that's always one of the things about these big 170s, 160s numbers is if you can get one stat drop on it, it's going to be much more significant to what the Pokemon's trying to do in comparison to, saying, intimidating Incineroar, who's not really investing into attack anyway. Grimmsnarl here, Light Screen, Reflect, Spirit Break, Taunt, super duper standard, I feel like, nowadays. who needs speed control when you have Tornado sitting next to you? Tailwind, Rain Dance, Hurricane Protect. The one cool thing is this Clear Smog Amoonguss. Like, Clear Smog's great against like strictly like the Xerneas teams, which we hardly see outside of the one game we just played against it. But unfortunately, Clear Smog doesn't work against like the more popular like Solgaleo weakness policy teams or Necross with Duskmane, since you can't hit it with Clear Smog. So that's kind of my concern there. But what'd you think? Like, would you make any crazy big changes besides the one couple things to Kyogre?
Honestly, the team felt really, really cohesive. I never clicked Clear Smog on Amoonguss. I did get to Pollen Puff my Kyurem after I Dragon Danced, so that was like insanely hot.
Yeah.
When Kyurem gets going, it's insane. But Incineroar is the most popular Pokemon in the format. Landorus is also very good, so like finding a team that doesn't have an Intimidator makes Kyurem harder to bring, or being set up in a position to where you actually are able to bring it in after you deal with those appropriately, which, granted, Kyogre does deal with both of them very, very handedly.
Yeah.
Grimmsnarl continues to impress me every time I play it. Yeah, this team was just really good. I never clicked Rain Dance on Tornadus, I don't think, but, I also played like 5 games with this team, because playing on cart means that you're going to play slower. But yeah, this team was really, really fun. I cannot recommend it enough.
If you want to play this team, the rental code is on screen. Big thanks to Doodlebop for sharing this team with us, and that's our team of the week.
Yep, for sure.
So back to our lovely mugs, so you can see us before we go here. I think Series 12 is destined for greatness, just because it's a longer format. Not everybody's going to be super duper burnt out, because feels like there's a whole lot more variety playing with 2 restricteds compared to 1. Dynamax adds on to that whole flavor of things that can Gigantamax are still very powerful on level of like restricteds. So if you have Gigantamax Venusaur and Gigantamax Charizard alongside your 2 restricteds, that's essentially like having 4 restricteds, which is great. But as someone who hasn't played a whole ton of Series 12 and just been theory crafting the entire time, a lot of my opinions are probably more skewed than others.
Yep, for sure.
You ready to get out of here, bud?
I'm ready to go lay down. I don't know if y'all can hear, but I definitely don't feel great today. So having something a little less brain functioning, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Something a little easier for my brain was definitely a plus today. So
let's get out of here.
Yeah, for sure. As always, everyone, make sure you follow us on Twitter at LR Lessons, myself at Mr. Missouri25, Carlos at Musical VGC. You can also find us on YouTube if you're not listening there. For those who are, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you do that on every video. It really does help us out a ton. If you're listening over on Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review over there as well. And to everyone else who's listening on every other platform, we greatly appreciate you and all the support you all give us. So, let's see. From there, make sure you come and join our community Discord. That link is always down in the show notes as well. Come and check us out on Twitch. I know you've been streaming Arceus this last couple of weeks. Yep. I've been playing Blue Kaizo, which has been an experience.
Yeah.
As much as I love this game, I also hate it just as much.
I have been having a blast with Pokemon Legends Arceus. My rule is I can only continue the story while I'm streaming.
Okay. So everything else, all the grinding and stuff you're doing offline.
So I try to do all the grinding off camera, which I haven't got a chance to play in a very long time because I have my Draft League match this week and we're getting all that built up and set up. I ended up not being a cheater. I didn't gen my Mons. I'm very proud of myself. I made it work.
Proud of you.
But depending on how work goes, we may have to drop out of this league a little bit earlier than planned.
Yeah, work has been a pain for you, to say the least.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll figure it out. Pokemon Legends Arceus is probably where the brunt of my focus is going to be from now until the foreseeable future. I feel like that's much more my type of Pokemon game compared to other people. I like the RPG aspects a ton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been really enjoyable. It is a very, very unique game, and I absolutely love it.
Yep. Where were we? Stream,
Twitter, Twitch, Discord. Go check out the website at lrlessons.com. Go check out the merch page on there as well. I know we had a pretty big sale this week thanks to Papa Swish. So thank you so much there as always. Make sure you check out if you want to support us but don't want to buy merch for whatever reason. If it's just a little outside your price range, you can always go and support us on Anchor for as little as 20 to 25 cents an episode. You can keep Carl's lights on and pay for our fancy computers and all that stuff that you all don't get to see because it's all the back end stuff. So yep. I think that's officially everything.
Okay.
Cool. So let's get out of here, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and till next time, have a good one. Peace.